News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. There's your closing bell for this Wednesday on Wall Street, where stocks and bonds moved higher after a PPI report that showed softer than expected inflation. We'll have more on that just ahead. But first, let's check those closing numbers. We bring them to you each day here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 gained 29 points. NASDAQ gained 162 points. The Dow gained 150 points. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.55%. The 2-year yield at 4.14%. The U.S. launched operations for a second wave of strikes against Iran at 3 p.m. Eastern Time today. U.S. Central Command says in a post on social media they're focusing on Iranian military capabilities used to threaten vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Trump warned there would be more strikes against Iran over the next 2 days and that bridges and power plants could be targeted by next week unless negotiations resume. He tells Fox Business he just got a call from Iran this afternoon and they want to meet. The Wall Street Journal reports the president is leaning toward expanding U.S. military operations in Iran, including sending ground forces to seize Iranian islands near the Strait of Hormuz. Crude oil prices are higher, WTI jumping more than 1.25%, landing around $80 a barrel. Brent crude up 1.3%. It is closing in on $86 a barrel. More than 800 wildfires are burning across Canada, all the smoke prompting air quality alerts from the Great Lakes to New York and New England. In New York, the air quality index has deteriorated to unhealthy for everyone. On Capitol Hill, Fed Chair Kevin Warsh answered questions from the Senate Banking Committee, including about his vice chair for supervision, Michelle Bowman. Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren wanted to know if Warsh talked with Bowman about her reported attendance at a Bank of America dinner hours after participating in the central bank's policy meeting.
Did you ask her about the secret meeting that took place?
I wasn't at the meeting. I don't know the facts.
No one.
But I'd be very interested in the fact-finding being done by an independent inspector general.
Did you care enough to ask? How can you be chair and not ask your own vice chair whether or not she violated the blackout period, violated the law?
Fed Chair Warsh also said President Trump has not tried to interfere with the central bank.
I just don't want to be in the business of sharing discussions that the president and I have. Okay. I will tell you what I've said to the president repeatedly and said to the Treasury Secretary. They chose an independent guy to do an independent job, and that's exactly what I plan on doing. Okay. And I'd like to think over the last 7 weeks, given the decisions we've made and the things we've done, that it's not just words, it's actions now to start to demonstrate that.
Warsh said that even if Trump tried to interfere, he would continue to do his job. At Todd Blanche's confirmation hearing as President Trump's nominee for Attorney General, ranking Democrat Dick Durbin charged that in a year and a half in top roles at the Justice Department, Blanche continued to serve as the president's personal lawyer.
Do you think that blanket pardon by the president of January 6 rioters was the right thing to do?
The Constitution gives the president the full power to pardon anybody for any reason he wants. And so I don't question President Trump's authority or his decision to do so.
He may have had the authority to do it, but I think someone should have grabbed him by the arm and said stop.
Blanche's confirmation hearing comes just days after a federal judge issued a scathing ruling criticizing his conduct in a controversial settlement that gave President Trump immunity from IRS audits and created a nearly $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund for the president's allies. Blanche told lawmakers that fund no longer exists. Anthropic looking to meet with investors in the coming weeks as they plan their IPO as soon as October. Moving forward would push Anthropic ahead of rival OpenAI. Sources tell Bloomberg deliberations are ongoing and details of the offering, including timing, could still change. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon has some thoughts about the growing role AI will play in the workforce.
We don't really know, and I think people should stop being breathless over it. You know, we've created a lot of jobs in our company, and yeah, there are areas where it's reduced jobs a little bit, and you know, technology always creates new jobs. The question is going to be if it happens too fast.
JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon at the Pennsylvania Defense and Innovation Summit. The FCC is set to repeal the National Television Ownership Rule. It's designed to prevent a single broadcast station owner from reaching more than 39% of all TV households in the U.S. This is good news for Nexstar, which, when it buys Tegna, will reach 80% of U.S. households. The proposed change likely sets up a court battle over whether the FCC FCC can repeal the rule, which was set by Congress. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris, and this is Bloomberg.